What up, everybody? This your boy B-Rob, and I'm back with another edition of the Random Rambles with Rob podcast. First and foremost, I'd like to thank you, the listener, for coming back each and every week or however you listen to podcasts. And if you're a first-time listener, I'd like to thank you oh so much for giving my show a try. And if anybody recommended you to me, I'd like for you to lean over and give that person a crisp high five. But if you're not in that person's general vicinity, and go ahead and pick up your favorite social media app of choice, whether it be Threads, Blue Sky, or Spill, or whatever newfangled thing they got out here, because Twitter is dying a slow death. Send that person a well-crafted DM or a message telling them thank you for recommending you to me. Speaking of social media, you can find the Random Rambles with Rob on various social media platforms to include Twitter at 3R Show, Instagram at The 3R Show. And you can actually see as well as hear interviews that I've done on YouTube by searching 3R Show. So, the week almost got all the way around on me, man. Today is Friday. I've started doing my things on Thursday because it works more in alignment with my schedule. But I've actually had some days off from work. And yesterday got away from me, and I forgot all about doing simple recording and everything. But here I am right before I jet back out to go to work again. I wanted to hit y'all with a couple of words and updates and everything. As always, don't forget to sponsor Hooks, Rubs, and Spices. Go to hooksrub.com and you get 15% off your order if you use promo code RANDOM. Follow them on Instagram and wherever Hooks Rubs resides, because they're posting some good food recipes and content, especially their TikTok and everything. Also, partnership has been extended with RBR Weekly Wrestling Talk for Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com and you can get 20% off your order and free shipping if you use promo code RBRShave. So go to hooksrub.com, get 15% off, promo code RANDOM. Manscaped, 20% off, free shaving. Yes, you get free shaving, free shipping, and promo code RBRShave. Matter of fact, if you're into some wrestling talk and everything, hit us up on RBR Wrestling on all the social media platforms, majority of them anyway. And you can listen to us live Wednesday nights after AEW Dynamite on twitch.tv/RBR Wrestling. Anyway, yeah, so I've been resting up a little bit, but in my off time, I've actually made more progress in the closet. I am lumber free from being dropped on my feet or any other appendage of myself. Matter of fact, the other day I was cutting up some wood and everything for the closet, and a little piece of board did slip and it did hit me in the foot, but luckily I have my steel toes on now, so I'm good to go. I mean, it wasn't like as bad as, originally when I dropped the board on my foot, and my toenail is still discolored and everything. So like, I'm losing the moniker of the man with pretty feet, as my wife used to say, because now my toenail look all crazy and shit or whatever. It's not coming off or anything like that. It's just, it's still kind of bruised a little bit. The big toe and the nail is just still discolored and whatnot, because it's trying to heal itself. And I hope it's back to normal and everything, because I don't like my toe looking like that, Then I'm about to head out on a couple of trips here soon. I want to have my feet out, and I want no people just staring at my toe, asking all kinds of weird questions, or just internally thinking about what the fuck up with his goddamn foot. I don't like that shit. Yeah. Anyway, but I also was able to go out to the movies and everything. I went to see the final, I hope, submission into the Insidious series, The Red Door. They finally closed that shit. Spoilers. And all the kids from that series of movies have grown up. They're adults now, more or less. And that was kind of like the through line of the movie and everything. Dalton is a handsome man. His younger brother looks weird in comparison. The baby that was getting terrorized throughout the series is a little munchkin now, little cute little girl and whatnot. And I guess I am giving somewhat of a spoilers and not getting into the movie. I mean, because you know what these are if you've seen them all up until this point by now. But from the last movie into this movie, Dalton and the dad, and I just seen the movie, I forget his fucking name, got his memory. They got their memory wiped from the traumatic incidents that have happened in the past couple of movies involving their family. Cause you know, it branched off into, the lady and everything, the psychic medium that got murdered and shit. And, you know, the little myth spookbusters, ghost hunter guys and shit, you know, so, but with the true story proper, they got their memory wiped and everything to get rid of those traumatic memories and to keep them from astro projecting. So, here, those things have consequences. So now that everyone else in the family has been trying to keep the secret or, you know, just kind of reacting in some type of way to the fallout of them doing this thing. Cause, you know, it has affected them adversely, especially Dalton and Dad, because, you know, it's taking physical and mental effects on them because they can't recall things from certain times. It's leaving them in kind of like a daisy lethargic state. You know, it also cost them their marriage. They wind up getting divorced and everything. And it's kind of shown right off the bat when the movie starts, which mom died too. His mama died. That's sad. So sad about that. Yeah. I mean, the movie opens with her funeral and everything. And you could see some of the work that was done because of the memory wipe or whatever. The old guy, Elise's, friend, the guy that had the dice and shit, he was at the funeral and, he didn't recognize who he was because of the memory wipe thing or the hypnotism that they done. And then, later on, you know, those memories and that, seal that they put on the mind starts to crack when Dalton goes off to college and everything. And, some of those things are reawakened. He gets his mojo back as far as astro projecting and a whole bunch of things unfold. It's not the best movie, but it provided some type of closure for these characters in a way or whatever, because, you know, it's a time jump. Those kids were little last time we seen them. Now they're freaking adults going to college and shit and all kinds of stuff. And, there's no through as far as like how the marriage deteriorated. You just know right off the bat that it's done and everything. So yeah, typical Insidious movie, you know, of this franchise and everything. A lot of jump scares, callbacks, and all kinds of cool things. It's somewhat of the time travel that they do within the series when they go into the further and whatnot. And you get, since this is a closure movie, I don't think they're going to be making a mo from the Insidious franchise. You got a little, piece at the end. Elise shows up at the end and whatnot. So it's pretty cool. Wasn't the best of the series, but you know, that thing was kind of up and down anyway, as far as the story was going, but I still enjoy these movies. If you follow me on Letterboxd, I think I'm under 3R Show or The 3R Show. I got a review on it or whatever. And as far as my movie rating things on Letterboxd or whatever, majority of the things are going to have 3 stars. That's like my middle ground. Like if a movie is just okay, it's going to get 3 stars. You know, rarely you'll see 4 stars or 3.5 stars or 5 stars or whatever. You know, 5 stars are the ones that I really like or whatever. Those are probably in my fave 4. And, you know, so yeah. So if you see a lot of 3 stars, that's what it is. The movie's just okay to me. You know, I don't have a really deep, judging of, movies or whatever. I mean, I'm just amazed that people can do these things. You know, they get behind the camera, they get down, they write the script and everything. The actors go out there and they just make pretend and kind of make you believe for better or worse and everything. And I'm just amazed by that. So, I mean, they get kudo baseline is 3 stars. Unless the movie is trash, then, you know, then it is what it is. Matter of fact, I just did a 2-star rating The other day, what movie was it? I watched, where is it? Catwoman for the first time. 2004's Catwoman. I'd never seen it before. That was the only reason I watched it. You know, I've seen just about all the DC movies that I can recall, everything. I mean, going back to freaking Christopher Reeve, Superman's and everything moving forward, you know, so I've seen that. I think the only one that I need to revisit to either rejog my memory or I don't even recall that I've seen it is Man of Steel. Or no, not Man of Steel, Superman Returns. I don't think I've seen that one. So now I got to journey down that rabbit hole and everything. But that Halle Berry movie, other than Halle Berry looking nice and the cat puns, and the cat puns sucked. I don't mean other than, but Halle Berry looked great. Cat puns sucked. Shout outs to the little man stunt person that did all Halle Berry stuff. The CG was all right in spurts, but it was just weird. I'm waiting for the Halle Berry multiversal crossover is what I want. I want her cameo in some of these newer movies and everything. So that's what I'm waiting on from Halle Berry. I mean, we got goddamn Nicolas Cage in that, I guess that not to be audition that he did for Superman and shit. We got that Image in the Flash movie. So why can't we get Halle Berry in the motherfucking DC multiverse or whatever? Just give me a little taste. But yeah. Continuing on with the retro video game freaking journey, I'm kicking myself in the fucking ass because I mean, I used to have all this stuff, and like the way I am, I like to move forward. I don't like to dwell in the past too much. But since Young Child has an interest in all these retro handhelds and consoles and all this stuff, it's been bringing me back. It's been drawing me back in or whatever. And, you know, I've been sucked back into the trap. So my thing lately has been trying to get a PlayStation 3. I'm talking about one of the original models, the first backwards compatible ones, because those play PlayStation 3 games, PlayStation 2 games, and PlayStation 1 games. And I want all of that because I have now PlayStation 3, 2, and 1 games or whatever. I had a PlayStation 2. I have a PlayStation 2 or whatever, but I wanted to play some PlayStation 3 titles, you know, and I didn't want to go try to do all the emulation process and everything and all this other bullshit. And I thought the particular PlayStation 3 would be the catch-all because I can play 3, 2, and 1. So I got one for cheap. It was a PlayStation Slim, but you can only play PlayStation 2 games and 1 games through software emulation and all kinds of stuff. So you got to hack it and do all kinds of shit to it or whatever. And I don't want that. You know, I'm kind of under the way of, if I have disc, I want to play those discs, to where now current gen, you can't get me to buy a disc. You know, I will not buy a disc on the current gen console. So freaking PlayStation 5, goddamn the new Xbox, freaking Nintendo Switch, none of that stuff I have. I have 0 to, you know, slim physical games because I just don't choose to get down like that and whatever. Because like my gripe was, and I've said it on past podcasts or just even guesting on other podcasts and shit, there's audio footage and record of it to where like I was just too lazy to get up to change the game out when I wanted to play something different. And I like the ease and convenience of digital because I can just exit out the game, go to the next thing, and just, you know, not have to leave my chair. But now that I got these old school consoles or whatever, I mean, I don't want digital stuff. And plus the reason behind disc stuff or just physicals for these old retro stuff, a lot of this old stuff that I want, these niche things, games and shit, they don't have digital representation on the new marketplaces and anything like that. PlayStation 3 is still supported by the marketplace or whatever, but you can't get some of these games still digitally. So I have to get the physical copies and everything. And if I have the physical disc, I want to be able to play the physical disc. So that's why I was hunting for that certain PS3. But like with the software emulation, like I was saying, you can, the console itself won't read the disc, but with the emulation and the software hacking, you could put the disc in there. It'll recognize it. It'll rip a copy of the game to the console, and then you could play it that way. So it's kind of like a digital copy, but I don't want to have to go through all that, really. I just kind of want to pop the disc in and ride with the game. So, that being said, I'm still probably going to do some form of console manipulation as far as the software goes, because there are some tweaks that you can do for better system performance. So I'm all about that, HDMI upgrades and resolution tweaks or whatever. I'm down with that. But as far as the game manipulation and all kinds of stuff like that, I probably won't so much do. I mean, I got a Vita and a PSP, and that is prime for that. Like, I like that shit. Like, I software hack those, and I'm able to download whatever game I want to play on a whim or whatever. I don't need physicals for those, because those are very hard to come by. Well, not very. It's just like, I don't really care to look for those or whatever. And then, the way I play those handhelds is just kind of on the whim. So it makes no sense for me to be walking around with a whole bunch of physicals for the handhelds and shit. But I'm just reliving nostalgia. And like I said, I'm just kicking myself in the ass because I used to have all this shit. But since when the new things come out, historically, all the way back until when I even had the first Nintendo, when the Super Nintendo came out, I sold my Nintendo and all the games to get the Super Nintendo. And that's just kind of been the thing moving forward, So, and you know what kind of, I think, put that in my brain to do all the time or whatever? Because when I was a kid, when I was small, when I had that Nintendo, it was another kid and his brother or whatever. I sold it to him because they couldn't get a Super Nintendo. So it felt good to help them out to get at least something, because they didn't have a gaming system. So my mom did it for me. She was like, hey, or whatever. And she was able to sell it to them, and kids can have games. So like that kind of, I guess that stuck with me for whatever. I mean, this is some therapy session, some epiphany that I'm just having right now. But I always felt it, that's kind of in a way what I appreciated about places like GameStop and EB Games and Babbage's and all those places like that. It gives a second life to these games and consoles or whatever, because like I'm seeing it now with even, young child, my child now, like her just picking up these things for the first time and seeing them, and like she's hella knowledgeable about this shit. We watching movies and shit now. And like, if a movie references a year, automatically she spouts off what year, whatever handheld console comes out that year. Like, I forgot what we was watching, and somebody was talking about 1989, and she's like, that's when the first Game Boy came out. And I was like, what the hell is going on? And I could be inaccurate or whatever, but that's just an example. But like, she is all about the shit or whatever. So in her handheld collection, she has just about every Game Boy except the Game Boy Light and the Game Boy Micro out of the Game Boy line of handhelds. She doesn't have all the DSs yet, but she's working on it. She just got a 3DS not too long ago for Comic Palooza when we went to the convention. So she missing like a 2DS and a couple other handhelds and everything like that. So yeah, so her nostalgia bug has gotten, transferred to me, and it's bitten me and everything. So I've got, and as far as like the PlayStation 3 games that I got, it was just shit that I could remember that was unique to me, and games that frustrated me that I never finished, or just frustrated me in general, or never played. So among the PlayStation 3 titles I've got Wanted, Weapons of Fate, which is like a video game successor to the Wanted movie with Angelina Jolie. I also got the John Woo video game Stranglehold with Chow Yun-fat. I also have Def Jam Icon, which is the prettiest of all the Def Jam fighting games, but it is the worst as far as fighting games. I don't know why I got it. I just wanted it or whatever. I have Fight for New York on the original Xbox, and I need to get Vendetta since now I got the PS3 coming in. I'm gonna probably get that, so I'll have the whole suit of Def Jam games. I have 50 Cent Blood on the Sand. The only reason I got this game is because me and my co-host from RBR, Noah, had a conversation about PlayStation 3 games, and it came up, so I had to play it. There is another 50 Cent video game. I don't think it was highly acclaimed as Blood on the Sand was, so I am going to dive into that whenever I can get a working PS3, because I'll tell you about that in a second. I also got The Chronicles of Riddick, Assault on Dark Athena, which is a sequel to Escape from Butcher Bay, which originally came out on the PC. It was a computer game. And whenever they made this sequel on the PS3 and other consoles or whatever, they included as a bonus Escape from Butcher Bay. So this is 2 games in one here. Never got to play it. I can remember the hype around it when it first came out, because it was a fucking Vin Diesel had hands on this game. Also, I have The Bourne Conspiracy, a game that I can remember playing that frustrated the shit out of me or whatever, and I want to relive those frustrations. Heavenly Sword. Never really got to play much of that. And since I never was a Metal Gear Solid guy, I wanted to kind of go back through the franchise and everything. So I got the Metal Gear Solid Legacy Collection for PlayStation 3, which includes Metal Gear Solid 2, Solid Snake, Metal Gear Solid for the Nintendo, and then I got Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty, Snake Eater for Metal Gear 3, Metal Gear 4, a whole bunch of shit on here or whatever, which is kind of sad because they had this thing here and now they're re-releasing it for a new gen and they're doing it in volume. So you're not going to get the whole complete set like this. You're going to get it volumized, and it's not even an HD update or remaster. It's just these same shits being re-released on new gen from what I understand. And people are pissed about that. I am pissed about that, but I have this right here. So this is fine for me. Never really got into Metal Gear. I can recall watching my homeboy playing Metal Gear, but I never really got into it. I played Phantom Pain, the latest one or whatever, and it got a little repetitive for me, and I just kind of stopped playing it, never beat it or anything like that. But maybe I'll come back around after I go through some of these old ones and whatever. But that's it as far as the PlayStation 3 games. I did get Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. I think is the original copy or release for PlayStation 2, which had the hot coffee joint in there. For those of you who don't know what that is like they had an actual sex mini game in that original release of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. So I think I got a copy that allows me to do that, because the later editions that they released, they took that out. PlayStation 1 wise, I have SmackDown 2, Know Your Role, and WCW NWO Thunder, which games are kind of crappy, but I got them for $10 for the both of them. And at the time when I was searching for the PS3 that was fully backwards compatible, I just wanted to get some PlayStation 1 games that was so I can test it more or less. So check it out. I got the Super Slim, and like I told you my gripes about it. You know, you can only do disc games through software emulation, yada, yada, yada. Didn't necessarily want that. So searched around, found another PS3, fully backwards compatible, 60 gig. You know, if it's fully backwards compatible, if it has 4 USB ports on the front, it is a 20 gig or a 60 gig hard drive. That's the key indicators that it has the PlayStation 2 software and hardware inside of it, and you can play disc games. So I found one, 4 ports, 60 gigs, but it was a Japanese console. So I asked the seller, hey, can these play PlayStation 2 games? So they did not lie to me. They just wasn't specific in their wording and whatnot. So I paid money to get this thing shipped to me from Japan. It's in pristine condition. It is nice. It is clean. It works. It is updated to the latest software. So this is a good buy. But a PlayStation 3 from Japan can play all region except for PAL. That's Europe games on this console. It can play all PlayStation 3 games. But when it comes to PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 1 games, it is region locked. You can only play Japanese games from that region on PlayStation Japanese version. So it was kind of a wash. And like I said, I could still do the software emulation. And, so it can be able to read my American disc for PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 1 games. But like I said, I don't want that. I want to be able to pop the goddamn disc in and play the goddamn game. So now I got a Japanese PlayStation 3 here. I mean, it works. It's like I said, pristine condition, still got the box and everything. Trying to sell that thing and recoup some money back. I talked to some of the resellers here, places that I normally frequent to get used games and accessories and stuff. They're not looking to buy Japanese PlayStation 3s. So I got it up on eBay right now, trying to recoup that money, because I talked to the person that I got it from, and they was like, well, you can ship it back and I can refund you partially for the purchase. And I was like, that sounds like too much work. I only want to mail it once and probably recoup more money than what I paid for it. So got back on the hunt again. Hit up a guy in Canada. Now I know for a fact, since it's Canada is in my region, it will read American disc. It'll play American games and yada, yada, yada. Won't have any problems. So looking through the stuff, talking to the guy, it works and everything. Pictures show that he got the console booted up and everything or whatnot. So I get it. It even gets here earlier, ships faster than expected. I'm excited. I'm hype. I got my gaming system area prepped and set up, ready to plug this thing in, test it out and whatnot. As soon as I plug it in, power it on, beep, 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 yellow light of death. That's if you're familiar with the Xbox 360, they had the red ring of death. The PlayStation 3 has the yellow light of death. So now I paid this money. I got this thing, got it here quicker than expected, all excited, prepped and primed, ready to go. And this motherfucker don't work. Hit up the seller. He's like, that's impossible. I've tested it before it left here, yada, yada, yada. So I had to show him video evidence, show him that there was no chicanery and shenanigans and whatnot, that I opened it up, I plugged it in, it does not work. So now I got to box this bitch back up, send it back to Canada, which anybody who's deal with the postal service and sending shit to Canada, or anybody from Canada that has to send shit to the States, goddamn postage is fucking expensive. I paid $89 to send this box back with this damn PlayStation in it or whatever. But anyway, that's going to get resolved. It's been sent back so I can get my refund for that. So now, once again, I'm on the hunt for another PlayStation 3. Find one. And once that one get here, hopefully it does what the fuck it's supposed to do. So I have been through 1, 2, 3, 4 PlayStation 3s. The one coming in will be the fourth one that I've had hands on and everything. So let's see how that goes when it gets here. Also, on top of that, in the in-between, I got a Nintendo 64. Because AEW Fight Forever came out. I talked about it a little bit last week. And did make me nostalgic for those old Nintendo 64 games. And I always wanted to go back and revisit the Nintendo 64 anyway. So I came across one because I don't want any other games more or less for the Nintendo 64 other than the wrestling games. So now I am on a quest to get all the wrestling games that came out for the Nintendo 64, Japanese games included, which there is the Nintendo 64 is region locked. So you can't play Japanese games on an American console, and you can't play American games on the Japanese console. But there is a workaround for that, to where you pop the top off the console, and there's the cartridge slot where the cartridge fits into the board. You just take the plastic piece off, and you can either buy a replacement, or you can just modify the original plastic piece. And they literally put a region lock on the console. Like, it is a physical thing. Like, if you buy aftermarket tires and you get wheel locks, that's what this is essentially for the Nintendo 64. So you can either replace it with an aftermarket little piece that'll allow you to play different region games, except for Europe games, PAL. And that's it. Or you can just break the little tabs off on the original piece and it'll work fine. So now I am on a quest to acquire all the wrestling games for Nintendo 64 and everything. So currently what I have, because this N64 that I got, it comes with 6 games, wrestling games. So I will have, what the hell did I just type up? I'm trying to pull up eBay. All right. So in my possession, where is it? All right, here we go. Once it comes in the mail, I will have, what the hell? Show me my things. Show me my things. I hate when it does this. It won't show me my stuff. But anyway, I have pretty much more or less the shitty games. I have WCW versus NWO World Tour, WCW versus NWO Revenge, which Revenge is probably like the catalyst for making the, WrestleMania 2000 and goddamn No Mercy. So I have World Tour, I have Revenge, WCW Nitro, Mayhem, Raw, and Attitude. So those are the 6 games that I got coming with the console. So I need to get WrestleMania 2000 and No Mercy. There's 3 Japanese games. There's a Virtual Wrestling Pro 1 and 2. And there's another game that escapes me right now. So I need to get 5 more wrestling games. And I believe that would complete the wrestling games for that console. Oh, no, I lied. So there's also ECW Hardcore Revolution and WCW Backstage Assault. So those games or whatever. So that's like 7 games I need to get to complete the set. I kind of want to just almost as a display piece and everything, because I want all the cartridges. I'm going to try to make a mounting case bracket thing for it. And I want to mount it up with the console and everything. I'm going to play that motherfucker too, because it comes with an HDMI converter and everything. So I can hook it on my newfangled TV and possibly stream it whenever I decide to get on Twitch and do things or whatever, like I did with AEW Fight Forever. I also got for PlayStation 1, because it was dirt cheap, WCW versus The World for PlayStation 1. I know it wasn't a good game, but a lot of these shits wasn't good. I'm also looking to get Here Comes the Pain for PlayStation 2. So I'm just on the lookout for all the wrestling nostalgia. I also got Spider-Man for the PlayStation 1. And that's really all that I can think of right now that I want as far as the games of these retro consoles that I got. So once I get the PlayStation 3 in, once I get it in working and shit, or verify that it's working. I bought insurance on this motherfucker this time. So with the insurance, if this bitch is broken, I can probably get it refabbed or reserviced or fixed or whatever. At the very least, I might be able to keep the console and get my money back. So I'll see how that works. If it comes down to that, I hope it doesn't. Because if I can keep the console and it's broke, I can probably try to fix it and then I get my money back. So, I mean, that's a win-win for me. I didn't think about that for the last one because I thought it was going to fucking work. But hey, now I know moving forward. But yeah, so I got all the things nostalgic going on. But yeah, just wanted to hit y'all up. Got to do it every week and everything. And I just want y'all to know that I appreciate you. Those of you still hanging and listening. And if you could, come on over to RBR Weekly Wrestling Talk. That's where I am primarily. That's where I'm spending most of my time podcast-wise every Wednesday night after AEW Dynamite on twitch.tv/RBR Wrestling. Join the Fatal Four as we talk about the world of professional wrestling and other shenanigans and everything. So, yeah, that's all I got. I appreciate you for listening, and I'll see you next time.